When you had your dream, that was a memory you did before in another multiverse dimensional universe.
I mean, how is that possible? What is the best way to manifest a jackpot?
The lottery is not a game of luck, odds, or chance. Anything and everything is possible. There is already a version of me that has already won. What you're actually doing when you visualize something is you're pulling up a memory of what you've already experienced. You think that's a fluke? That's not a fluke.
Welcome to Lottery Dreams and Fortune.
I am very, very excited to welcome back to the program today Mark Haughton. He is a lottery winner. He has won a number of lottery prizes. He also has a school where he teaches other people about manifestation and quantum mechanics and intuition and all this stuff. He's been on this program a couple times before. But Mark, how are you doing today?
Doing fantastic, Timothy. How are you doing? Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's been 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But I want to dive right into it. For many people are familiar with you, but for anybody that is not yet familiar, can you give a quick recap of some of your lottery wins and maybe a couple of the biggest wins from some of your students?
The biggest one would be not the particular amount, but the way it occurred was when I won the Fantasy 5 here in Florida, and I bought my dream car, which was a BMW E46 M3, and I visualized, and I basically converted my imagination into a physical reality. To make a long story short, I found a way to impart my subconscious quantum mechanics to influence reality, and the exact way that I won the lottery was the exact way it played out in reality. In my imagination, it played out the exact way. And I'll say something about that. So when I was visualizing winning the lottery to buy that car, that M3, in my visualization, I would see myself checking the ticket, top prize. But you know what? While visualizing it, it's like the universe, or we should call your higher self, input another layer. So there was a woman in there in the background buying balloons and whatever. So I said, I'll roll with it. So I was visualizing that. You know what? When I won the day I won, and I checked the ticket, says top prize, there was a lady in the back in the 10 items or less checkout with the balloons. You can't make this up. So that was the most profound one. Students, I had a lot of students win my teaching this concept, 10,000, 20,000, a few 100,000. I had a couple students that won over 2 mil, but because of privacy, they didn't want to disclose it. But the principle stays the same. It's how you understand the nature of reality. And this is basically what I teach in my school platform. I teach you to create what's called plasticity. Plasticity is where your brain wires to filter reality a certain way. And we'll talk more about that. We'll talk about what reality is and how we can tap into all of that. But that's just a basic summary of what I do. So it's not just lotteries, anything in your life. If you want to have your business make 6-figure or 7-figure, if you want to change anything, it's the same concept. But I guess the lottery just pulled me because I've won it and I've done it a few many times. So everybody, yes, Mark, I want to win it. So that's what I'm doing.
Amazing, yes. And we have interviewed a number of people actually that have won some major prizes that belong to your school. So,
Right.
and I know we'll be interviewing more. But you mentioned plasticity, and you mentioned, which I would love to hear more about that. But with the science and some of these scientific terms, there's something very interesting that you mentioned a week ago because you sent an email and you mentioned this, and I looked it up, and it's quite remarkable that the 2022 Nobel Prize in Physics actually proved that quantum entanglement is real. Is that correct? And for people who are not physicists, like I'm not a scientist, but I find it fascinating, what does this actually mean in simple terms for manifestation, and why is this significant?
All right. So basically, what these Nobel physicists did, 3 of them, one was from France, Austria, and the United States. So basically, what they showed is that reality does not exist in one fixed state. So in simplistic terms, Your reality is subjective. This quantum entanglement basically says particles can travel information in vast amounts with no time delay. So materialism says that everything is fixed with rules. So that violated that concept. So in layman's terms, they're basically saying reality exists in what's called superposition. It's infinite possibilities or potential. You collapse it by your observation and your imagination, then it turns out into a definite actual thing. So there is no out there. There is no physical world. So that's why they say reality is non-local. So there is only your observation, my observation. And to you, Timothy, this is exactly how you won your jackpot. So what you did, now we know quantum entanglement, you picked up, here's the next profound one I want to share with you. Not only the universe, not universe anymore, it's multiverse. Not only it's non-local or it's subjective, it is a replay multiverse. So you and I are not creating anything new. What we're doing is we're aligning with things that are already created. There's nothing to create. It's just to align your brain's frequency to your brain's oscillation, or what we call a frequency, to a different reality in a dimension. So with you, when you had your dream, that was a memory that you did before in a past or in another multiverse dimensional universe. And you picked that information up and you brought it into this reality. The thing about information is also infinite. You can't filter out information. It's there in the field. So you're going to pick it up, transfer it back here, and you got your jackpot win. So you're just reliving a memory that you did before with the new experience.
That is super, super interesting. But if you are picking up on this replay, as you mentioned, aligning with that, if it's already happened, I mean, how is that possible?
Okay, so here's how it works. All right. So our brain can only see, so about 98 to 99% of reality, the truth, is actually hidden from our brain. Our brain is not designed to see the truth. It's only designed to see necessity or survival. So in quantum mechanics, we now learn and we now know what's called inflation, that space and in time, it's infinite. And particles like you and me were made up of an atom and electron, right? Those particles, they have to repeat at some point. And since things are infinite, they must repeat in the same pattern as you and me. With the same pattern, they must have the same experiences. So these experiences and these versions of us, they exist in what we call dimensions. So a dimension is 3-dimensional. We have up, down, left, right. But other dimensions exist that we can't tap into physically, but we know with mathematics they're there, such as string theory now shows us that there's up to 11 dimensions that we exist in. So reality exists in infinite states right now happening in parallel universes. And the only way you and I can tap into it is through our consciousness, through our imagination, our intention. We pick up the information there, and the information is brought back here. Your subconscious mind takes that information, processes it out, sends it to your conscious mind, and your conscious mind interprets it as physical reality. So that's the simplistic way to make it sound. And I'll break it down even more. So look at it in this way. So your phone, when you turn your phone on, right, and you see a picture, those pictures are made up of pixels. So you put a whole bunch of pixels together, you see a picture, right? Me and you and everything else are actually like pixels. They're information. In quantum physics, they're called qubits. So look at us as informational qubits. So all our information is being streamed, and it forms Mark and it forms Timothy. So even you and I are non-local. So we pick up information from the other realities. We bring them here, and then your subconscious process them out, and then you see physical reality. So that's how someone can sit down and say, you know what, I'm going to win the lottery. And they use their imagination and they create plasticity. And what they're doing, they're transferring something that's already in the field, and they're bringing it into just another dimension to experience it. So technically, everybody can win the lottery if they decide to do it, because there's infinite versions of it playing out right now. It's a multiverse theory.
And what exactly is plasticity? And more importantly than that, how do you intentionally align with these different dimensions?
Right. So plasticity is known as neuroplasticity. So how your brain operates is this. I'll give another example. So our brains are more like receivers. So look at your brain as kind of a Wi-Fi signal, right? Picking up information. Wi-Fi's there's a hub, like a central place where they broadcast a signal and we pick it up. So your brain and my brain is picking up something from the central hub. That central hub would be known as your higher self or consciousness. That's streaming all possible realities. So what your brain does now, there's a part of the brain called the RAS, the reticular activating system. What that part does, it just looks for what's familiar and what you see more of and present it into your reality. So now, if you want to intentionally manifest something, what you would do is you would decide on what it is you want. Then you would create a repetition. That repetition now, your brain now automatically is programmed to filter and pick up information. So now it will focus on a frequency of that particular reality. So now that frequency comes in. The brain now starts to create what's called neuroplasticity. When it sees something it's familiar with and it's a pattern, it starts to wire together and it fuses together. And now it creates what's called a new neural pathway. That neural pathway now tells the subconscious mind that this is how reality is for us. So now your reticular activating system will only filter out that particular reality that's already out there for you and me to experience. That's neuroplasticity in simplest terms.
Yeah, that is really fascinating. The reticular activating system, of course, is extremely interesting. You know, what is the best way to manifest a jackpot, would you say, or a lottery prize in your opinion?
Yeah.
Like what I know you have so many techniques that you teach and that you believe, but just someone just came to you up, which you have people all the time come up to you and ask you this question: what is the best way? What's the most practical way?
Just to manifest a lottery, it's not really about the techniques. Before you can implement the techniques, you got to have one requirement. And here's the requirement. It's a state of mind. It's a mindset. And here's the mindset you have to have. Number one, there's two. The lottery is not a game of luck, odds, or chance. That's number one. And here's why because if you think the lottery is a game of luck or chance, your subconscious mind is going to put you into one of those superposition and possible realities where it exists as luck or chance. So you're basically saying, put me in a place where I may get lucky, or it's a game of odds or chance, and you may never win. You may win, you may never win. So get that out your mindset. There's no luck or chance. The next mindset is now, anything and everything is possible. There is already a version of me that has already won. So if you put those two mindsets together, you can easily now manifest anything, lottery, jackpot, whatever. Because what you're telling your brain and you're telling your consciousness is, hey, this has already happened. It's out there somewhere. So you get less doubt, less resistance from your conscious mind, your ego. And if you have that going, you have more room to get the frequency to manifest it. So that before you start doing that, you have to develop that mindset. If you don't have that mindset, you're not going to win. Point blank.
And for people that are skeptical, or maybe they've been trying to manifest or they play the lottery, maybe they don't even believe in it, but regardless, they're out there playing, they're disappointed when they don't win and they lose hope and they're frustrated. What do you tell people like that?
All right, I tell you guys, if you're doing that, you're playing from a state of lack. So to change it, to help you, approach the lottery like it's fun. It's a game. Approach it like you don't really need the money. It's just for fun. And the reason you have to do this is because how your subconscious mind works. See, if your subconscious mind thinks you need something, you're going to get more need. You're going to get more lack. But if your subconscious mind thinks this is fun, you already have it, it's going to put you in a vibration to have it. So when you're playing the lottery, play it as a fun game. And also, very important, budget. Have a budget to play, because you may think, oh, the more money I spend, I may win. That the more money you spend, you actually put yourself in lack, because you're affirming you don't have, so you're trying to get. It only takes. I mean, I won on a $2 quick pick ticket, so you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars. It's just the mindset to recognize that, okay, it's fun. I'm having my budget. Play whatever you can afford to play. And I always like to use this concept: have money to burn, so to speak. So when you're playing, if you lose money, you don't lose the money. Don't look at it, you lost the money. But say you lose the money, you're okay with it. Don't play with your rent money, with your bills money. Play with money that you can afford to play with. That puts your subconscious mind in an abundant state, and I guarantee you, you will end up winning. Now, Timothy, let me say one thing too that determines a lot of individuals when they play the lottery. They think about the time. They say, "Oh man, what if it takes me 5 years? What if it takes me it's going to be a long time." And the reason they do that is because of their conscious mind, their ego. The conscious mind lives in time, in linear time. You, my friend, you and I, we don't exist in time. That means our awareness, our consciousness, we are non-local. We're everywhere all at once. So the win has already occurred. Your subconscious mind does not live in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Uh, it lives now. So if you just approach it in that aspect, like, hey, I'm just doing something I've already done. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen at the perfect time. You'll win so fast.
I also want to, of course, have to say that, I encourage people to play responsibly, of
Yes.
course, and never spend more than you can afford, which you mentioned is
Very
very
important,
important.
yes.
But if there are all these different dimensions and all these possibilities, and you're trying to tap into, obviously, the most successful one that you think is going to make you the happiest, winning the lottery, this fantastic thing. But conversely, there can be negative things. I mean, I've had dreams about negative things, or had something happen, or I had a hunch and I just felt like that was going to happen. And then on the rare occasions that I didn't listen, such as I had a dream about a car accident, I went and I didn't listen. I just thought, well, I'll be extra careful. And I went anyway. And then I got in this horrible car accident. So things like that. I mean, how do you make sure that you are on and that you enter the dimension that you are seeking?
For example, the dream you had, that was a warning from what's called your authentic self. So what happens is your higher self will give you warnings. You will automatically know through intuition. You'll get dreams, you get feelings, and also you'll see blocks. So when you know you're on the right track is when everything moves in a flow state. When you know the field, I call it the field, is attempting to tell you something, is when you meet a lot of resistance. You do something one time, you get a block. You go another way, you get a block. You go another way. So I use the line, 3 strikes you're out. If you meet 3 blocks, it's the field telling you that's not the way I have for you. I'm redirecting you in another direction. So when you experience that, you relax. You just follow and flow. But the truth is this, and here's the big picture. Because you're here in this reality, right? You're going to experience a lot of things I call duality, like your car accident and everything. But always remember this: the movie that you're living right now is a replay that you've already set up before you got here. So it literally means everything is going to be all right for you. So nothing is happening to you, it's actually happening for you. So even disasters or setbacks, they will always turn out to be in our favor. And that is the hard pill to swallow for so many people. And here's why: because we use our conscious mind, our ego, and our ego sees danger. This is bad. You're wrong. You shouldn't have took this way. Why did you do that? Remember, guys, our minds can't see the full picture. We only can see 2%. Check this out. That means 98% of reality not available to you and I. So when you look outside, see the beautiful sky, you look up at the stars, See all those trillion stars? You see everything else? You only see 2% of the field.
Wow. And there's so much more happening, and they have shown, even with animals or dolphins and bats and that sort of thing, that they perceive things that humans don't perceive as well.
All right. There's a shrimp. There's a shrimp that can see more of the light spectrum than you and I. Think about that. A shrimp. What is it called? A mantis? But it's a shrimp that can see in infrared. I think it's even ultraviolet. So we got to wake up.
Yeah, that's incredible. What's your take on signs and synchronicities and that sort of thing? Because a lot of people these days believe that we're living in like the Matrix, and they compare it to the Matrix or in a simulation. And I myself notice, I meditate and that sort of thing, and I've noticed once in a while, fairly often actually, I'll be talking about something or thinking about something, and all of a sudden it just pops up in my life, whether it's a person or a place or a thing. Or the other day I was listening to a podcast, and someone said, it was an inspirational podcast, and someone said, make it happen. And right as this guy said this, I glanced over across the room. I was making breakfast. I was making these pancakes on this marketing slogan on this bag, big bold print, make it happen. Things like that. And it's just like, what's your take on that?
Well, so what you just experienced is called a feedback. And that's a part of entanglement, that all information is connected. So when you thought about that, immediately that came up. But the truth, you mentioned the matrix. So here's how it works. So it's kind of a hologram we exist in. So back in the early 2000s, I think there's a physicist named Leonard Susskind. So they basically showed that our reality through the study of black holes, that make it simple, that black holes show that reality is really two-dimensional and information is sped over it. So it's like a hologram. So everything is on a 2D surface being broadcast on a 3D surface, and we call that the matrix. Now, because your physical body is here, right? So there's two levels to this. So I call it the avatar, which is me and you. And beyond the avatar is the player, the controller, which is the field or conscious, or call it your higher self. So what it does, since it knows the entire game that you're playing, it knows everything that's going to happen to you and for you ahead of time. So what it does, it gives you information you need to know in the moment. So it'll send synchronicities to you, and these synchronicities will help you to guide you, because remember, we're in the game. So let me use an analogy. So look at my hand right here. So we're on here, right? We're
on a flat plane, yeah.
So we could only see right here, right? But look, there's something above. Above, I can see the entire field. I'm down here, this little thing. I can't see so I can see over here before you even get there. I already know what's going to happen over here. So what do? I beam information down to you, and I say, Mark, here, go this direction. Here's a synchronicity. Go that direction. I'll use an example in a lottery. Hey, go to this store. I'll send you a dream. I'll send you intuition. Go to this store. Go to this machine and get this scratch off. You go get that scratch off, you win $500,000. Boom. Hey, here's 6 numbers, like in your case. Timothy, here's the 6 numbers. You dream them. Go play these numbers. Boom. So your avatar has already been downloaded with the information that it needs to make its experience in the game. So synchronicities are just a part of your guidance system that I like to call it, your higher self sends to you. Now let me say something powerful too. If you guys doubt this, here are the tests that I could prove it to you right now that this exists. All you have to do, just before you go to bed, you can actually connect with what's called your authentic self. All you simply have to do is before you go to bed, just say out loud, say, hey, give me a sign of such and such. Give me a sign to let me know such and such is working. Once you do that, give me a sign of such and such. Give me a sign to let me know such and such is working. And just go to sleep. Don't think about it. and watch. You'll definitely get the sign, intuition. Someone will come up to you, and that's because we're already plugged in. We're connected.
If you ask the universe, if you ask your higher self for a sign to bring in more synchronicities or to show you that you are on the right path, to show you that you are connected to that, how specific do you get? Do you do this in prayer? Do you say this out loud? Do you just do this in your head? Do you write it down? Like how?
No, you always communicate to the field out loud. When you're talking, talk out loud because your vocal cords carry more resonance and frequency and energy. It actually blasts out more. So you can do it in low voice, but you just basically talk to it just like remember, it's yourself. You don't have to go and say, "Hey, please, universe, can you show me this?" Don't approach it like that. You have to approach it in a demand and a command way because it's you. It's just another version of you streaming. So all you say is like, "Hey, you know what? That thing I was thinking about. Here's what I'd like you to do. Can you go ahead and show me or bring such and such to help me?" That's it. "Hey, you know, I'm desiring to win that $5 million. So here's what I'd like you to do. Go ahead and let me know which store I should continue to play or what ticket I should get. You could either send it to me in a dream or you can show me however you feel. I'm open and let it go and just do your thing and you'll get your answer. It'll come in either of these forms. It'll come to you in a dream. It'll come to you from somebody else, may talk about it. You may see a picture on your social media, but you won't miss it. Once you get it, lock it in, rinse and repeat it until you get your desired results.
And letting go, what do you mean? I think I know what you mean, but for people watching and listening to this, what do you mean letting go? Because it's for a lot of people that, at least with the lottery and different things in life, whatever your goal is, a lot of people it's money, some people it's a relationship, some people it's a promotion, all kinds of things. How do you let go when you want it, you desire it so badly?
So if everything already exists all at once, right? Quantum physics is showing that all possibilities. So that means you and me, we already have whatever we want. So there is no need to want something, right? So since we already have what we want, our subconscious mind is running on that program. So if you and I are holding on to the object of our desires like we need it, our subconscious says, wait a minute, you already have this because it's already been experienced. It's a replay multiverse. So because I can't give you what you already have, I must give you the opposite, which is not having it. So now when you hold on and need it, you are actually repelling and pushing away what you already have. So for someone who is struggling with letting go, here's the answer for you. Realize that you already have it. And if you just act as if it's coming, then it will come to you. But if you're holding on, like you need to win the lottery to change your life, you need to have the money to do this, you are doing the opposite because remember now, we don't manifest and align reality with our very intellectual and smart mind. That's what we've been misled. Reality comes through the illogical mind. The illogical mind is the subconscious. It can't deduct, it can't deduce. It's not going to say, don't worry, Mark, I know what you mean. I know you need it, but you don't really need it. You're just saying it because you just want it. It can't, your conscious mind says that. Your subconscious mind just says, oh, Mark, you're giving me this energy of this need that you really, really want this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to help you. I'm just going to give you more of the need. And then I keep getting more need. I keep getting more teeth. Like, where's the win? My subconscious says, that's your dominant vibration. Your mind is saying, well, this is the right way to get it. We have to need it so we can solve the problem. Incorrect. So that's the big misconception that they don't tell people. We go out every day and we think, we have to push, we have to work hard. No, you don't have to do any of that. The name of the game is efficient and flow. If you can be efficient and flow, you will manifest anything. If you're trying and pushing, you are pushing it away. Bottom line, it's just a law of physics. A law of physics work. Look at particles. You think a particle forces its way? A particle pops in and out, goes through your walls. There's no force and push. We are particles. I mean, take your skin, break it down to molecules, the tissue, the bone, cells. You get to atomic, you see electrons, protons. They are not physically real things. So they're transparent. So how can me and you be physically real if the ingredients that make us is not physically real? That's what people have to understand. So what you and I are seeing basically is our brain's elaborate trickery of what we see as physical reality. Touch my hands, I'm not touching anything. What I'm actually doing is we're called Planck scale. The electrons are repelling the electrons in my hand, in my thing, and it creates this magnetic push. And my brain says, Mark, you're touching, you're sitting. All of that is just my brain's way of making me feel normal in an immersive kind of simulated reality. Our brains do that all the time. Science now knows that. Science already shown that nothing is. I mean that experiment that Nobel Prize those physicists won. That's what it shows. It shows basically that all of this is holographic in nature. That it's non-local. That information is just being streamed, and our brain is just processing it. So for you guys out there, let it go. Detach from it. Just know it's going to come, and act and move in that way. And before you know it, you'll get your manifestations coming in.
So would you say that faith and or belief and the feeling of it, that those things are also
Yes. Faith. Faith. The number one thing is faith. And listen, faith has nothing to do with religion. Religion adopted faith. Faith is basically you knowing that you already have it. You just don't know how or when, but you just go ahead and say, you know what? I can't see this, but I know it's going to come. That's faith is the direct communication line to your higher self. It's like you calling your higher self and says, hey man, all right, so you working on that? Your higher self says, yeah, I got it coming. So just relax and just it'll be in the mail, and I'll send you the confirmation when it's near, the synchronicity or the sign. And you say, all right, I got it. That's an example of faith. If you do it that way, you're guaranteed. I'm using the word guaranteed now to get what you want, because the science is showing us this. Science is now showing that the way our brain interprets reality is not the way we were taught. We now know that there, and I'll say this again, Timothy, because this is very important. I want the audience to know this, all right? Guys, what those physicists basically showed is that, okay, your house and your car and your wall, it's not physically material. It's not physical. It's a subjective thing. So they won a Nobel Prize for showing that, all right?
And does that sort of tie into the double-slit experiment and showing that when you observe something that then it is formed?
Yes, exactly. It ties into that, the double-slit, that reality can only come online when you observe it. If you don't observe it, it's not online, because it's your brain that filters it out. So if you want to get deeper, so it literally means that you and I are self-projecting our own reality, and we don't even recognize it. So everything that we see around it, the people we interact with, the things in our life, those are things that we are generating through our more through our subconscious more than our conscious. And I want to point this out to Tim. I want everybody to know this. Guys, this is important. You do not, your conscious mind, your very smart intellectual mind, it cannot generate or create any reality. It can only observe, and it can only broadcast, and it can only criticize. It is like I like to use the analogy of a sports game, a football or a basketball game. You have the announcer behind the table talking about the game. Oh, he's going up the court. He just made a shot. He did 2 yards touchdown. But he can't play. The players are the ones playing in the game, right? So your conscious mind is like that broadcaster, the announcer. He can just talk and say, well, we can do this. You can't. It's your subconscious mind. So if you really want to change the game, you have to make your subconscious mind conscious like your regular mind. So you have to know the secrets or the techniques to impress the subconscious, make it conscious, learn its signs, learn its routines, learn how it operates, and all those things I teach and put in my Skool platform. And that's why you see so many people are so successful, because they're moving from their conscious into their unconscious. And listen, science shows us too. 98% of our lives are run by our subconscious, not our conscious.
Well, how do you imprint upon the subconscious mind? I mean, you've mentioned a few ways so far, but
Right.
what do you think is the most powerful way to do that if you're trying to?
All right. So I'll cut to the chase. So there's a lot of ways to do it, but just if you're a beginner, and I'll make it easy for you, technically the most powerful way to impress the subconscious is what's called subliminal programming. So that means when you go to sleep, your brain goes through different states. You have alpha, theta, beta, delta, gamma. So theta is where the subconscious is open for instructions. So it means when you're sleeping, the subliminal bypasses the mind, the critical mind with resistance, because it also goes to sleep. Your subconscious is open. So your subconscious takes the information from the subliminal and changes what's called your map of reality. So if you want to change it, you have to use subliminals every night while you sleep. I was saying there's tons of subliminals. You have subliminals to make you win a lottery, to make you more money, to make you feel worthy and deserving. And so that's the easiest way. The second easiest way to impress your subconscious mind is through ask-formations. When you use ask-formations and questions, your subconscious mind must prove your questions to be your answers as physical experiences. So, let me give you an example. If you say, every day you get up and you say, why do I have more than enough money to live the life I desire? Subconscious says, even if you have $10 in your bank account, right? Your conscious mind says, you don't have more than enough money. You only have $10. Remember I said earlier, it's not the conscious mind that generates our reality, the subconscious. So all the subconscious is hearing is, Mark, you have more than enough money to live the life you desire? Okay, I have to show you why you have more than enough money, Mark. What's going to happen? Mark's going to have more than enough money. And my conscious mind is going to come online and say, oh, okay, I see how you do it. Now, the lottery. If you want to win the lottery, here's a good one. Top tier lottery jackpot prizes. Let me repeat that again. Why am I consistently in the right place at the right time winning top tier lottery jackpot prizes? Now, the subconscious mind says, oh, so you win in top tier. So top tier lottery jackpot prizes mean anything over $1,000. 1,000, 10,000, 1,000,000, 500,000. So what it's going to do? It's going to line you up. One day you're going to go out. You're going to be in the right place at the right time. You're going to get that feeling. You're going to get something. You're just going to pick the right ticket, man. And that right ticket will be a claimer. That's how the subconscious works. So those are, if you guys want to get started, those are the two simplest things you can do, and that will get your subconscious on track. Of course, there's more layers to it to really get it to set the map of reality, but that's a starting point for anybody to do that. And if you start that, you'll actually start to see results in as little bit as 2 weeks. To get full results with the subliminals, you need about 90 days. But that will definitely get you on your track, on the way.
And speaking of results, because you do have this school where you teach people these techniques and these beliefs and all of this, and it's so fascinating. But speaking of that, are you able to share a couple of the wildest or craziest or most interesting stories from students that have had success with, whether it's the lottery or anything else?
Yeah. Well, there are a couple. There are a few where a student actually woke up and they had a loan balance that they were paying for their son. I think it was 15, 20,000. That was gone. Credit card payments disappear. A new house, car coming in. Another student had was thinking about getting her child support payment, and the husband was very unresponsive. And then she put in an affirmation and some techniques I put in there. And in a few days, she had about $20,000 in back child support payment coming in. Another client I had there, I was in London. I had a business, and she had a $2 million contract proposal given to her by a company. So this is all examples. But let me say this. I have to say this though. So the main reason why the Skool community is so powerful, it's not about the techniques. Here's the main reason it's so powerful. It's the energy that these members, when they come in, it's a very unique energy in that community. And one of the big secrets to manifest is energy. The more energy you have, the same kind of energy, it's going to affect everybody. So if someone comes in there and they're not good at believing and a little bit doubt, the energy of the group will pick them up and it will help them manifest. And this is actually shown in physics that the more energy you put on something, the more it collapses reality. For example, if space that we look at right now, we're looking at space, right? Did you know you could actually bore a hole through space? This little space right here? Guess what? If you had enough energy, a laser with enough energy, we can pierce a hole in space and potentially that's another dimension. That's what black holes do. Black holes do it all the time. They tear a hole in space-time. But it's energy. So imagine having energy of all these individuals with the same mindset, the same vibration. That's the real secret to the community. So whenever anyone enters that community, it catches them. I call it the vapors. They just catch the vapors, and they'll start manifesting and helping. And that's a secret to manifesting. If you have a community of individuals that have the same mindset, they become aligned and in sync. And the whole helps all and the individual.
Well, as they say, we are all connected. But if anyone wants to catch the vapors, where can people find your group? And I know you're also, of course, a very popular YouTube. You also have a YouTube page that's very, very popular. And I don't know if this school existed the last time you were on the show, but it is now, here, and it has a lot of traction too. So where can people find you?
Yes, definitely. Just on my YouTube channel, Mark Haughton. The Skool links will be posted there. And also, your channel too has brought a lot. So previous interviews they can see and check, and so you can find me at Mark Haughton YouTube channel, and you can get signed up and get into the Skool community there.
I love it, and we will put links to that in the description if you're watching this on YouTube, or in the show notes if you're listening to this today. Mark, I have questions that could go on for. I mean, I think we could talk for hours and hours because this is so interesting. Yeah. I have so many more questions, but we do have, of course, limited time, but we'd love to have you back another time. Is there anything else that you want to say today that I do not know enough to ask, or that you just want to say?
Right. Yes. So there is something that I would like everyone to know. All right. And this is it. So guys, whenever you visualize something, right? It is not something it's not something you're seeing in time. It's not a future thing. What you're actually doing when you visualize something is you're pulling up a memory of what you've already experienced. How do you know this to be true? Because you have a thing called a desire. What made you just desire to win the lottery? That's not fluke. What made you desire to be an actor, an actress, or desire to make a 6-figure business? What is the thing that will get you up in the morning and you want to do it? You think that's a fluke? That's not a fluke. That has been downloaded into you from the field, your higher self. So in this game you're playing, it literally means you already have all the tools to succeed. So if you approach it from the mindset that you're just remembering and recalling what you've already experienced, you become more aligned. And that's when you see the miracles start to happen. So that's what I want to encourage everybody to do now, is to remember this, that you have already done it. You've already experienced it. You just gave yourself amnesia when you got here to make it more interesting. Imagine, Timothy, watching the same movie over and over again and know the ending. That'd be boring. So what we do when we come back, we just flip it off and say, hey, I'm just going to wipe your memory of what you did before so it could seem like you're doing it again. And your higher self says, all right, I'm just going to give you little clues in the meantime to just get you there because I want you to have fun. I want it to be immersive. I want you to experience it. That's what we all need to know.
That is deep. That is deep. I love that. I'm going to try that myself too, Mark.
Yeah, do it. You'll see.
Yeah.
If you approach everything from a memory standpoint, the subconscious now knows and says, hey, this is something we've done. And then it's easier for you to manifest. Because now, also to your ego, you're not telling your ego now, I'm trying to do this. Your ego sees it as, oh, he's just having fun. He's just in his head thinking he's done this before. But to your subconscious, it becomes a memory. And what are memories? We can only have memories because of what? Because we experienced it before. You can't have a memory if you haven't done it before, right? If you remember, I remember the time when you won your lottery. That was a memory because you did it before. Oh, when I had a great time at my aunt's cookout, or I had a great time when I got that promotion. You've done it before. So the subconscious says, wait a minute, this is a memory, Mark. So we've done this before. Let me go ahead and catch up and make it the physical experience. And that's one of the fastest ways you're going to manifest anything. But there's the big tip I gave you right there.
And with that, when you're feeling the memory, how much is immersing yourself in the feeling of it as opposed to just believing it? How much is the feeling? Question. How important or not important is that?
Now, here is the paradox. People will say, let me tell you something, guys. You don't have to conjure up a bunch of feelings. You don't have to, I got to feel like I won. You don't have to do that. Because remember, it's already wired inside of your subconscious. So the only thing you have to do when you visualize anything is to do it as if it's normal. When you're visualizing something, you have to do it like you're going to plan tomorrow. Like, okay, tomorrow I got to get up. I'm going to go to the dry cleaners. There's nothing exciting. I got to go to dry cleaners. I'm going to do it. You just get up and do it. Same thing. I'm going to manifest the lottery. It's normal. It's a part of my life. I'm going to win 5 million. I'm going to open my habitat and help animals and rescuers. That's how you have to approach it. Do not approach it like, oh man, I can't wait to do this, because your subconscious mind only sees reality as normal. So you have to approach it. So you don't have to conjure up a whole bunch of feelings. Your body will naturally align to what it feels like. So you do it as if it's normal, and that's how you manifest. If you try to get into feelings, your body says it's fake. It says, what are you doing? Just make it normal. The subconscious said, oh, okay, this is good. That takes you from fantasy into actuality. When you're trying to conjure up feelings that you don't have, you're in fantasy. But when you act like it's already yours and you just don't care, and you're doing it like it's another day at the office, you manifest it. So that's when it comes to feelings, guys. Some of us are wired differently. I'll say this. Some of us are wired to feel more. That's your blueprint. Fine. Some of us aren't, and you know who you are. If you're the one that's trying, you're not wired like that. You're wired to be more efficient. But if you're the one that you think exactly, you feel good, continue doing that. But it's not a one size fits all. You have to know your blueprint. So, and the thing about, abundance and self-help, they put this broadcast out there that everybody must feel it. You can't do that. We're not wired like that. Your subconscious and my subconscious is not wired the same. That's why it's subjective. So once you learn yourself, that's when the magic happens.
I love it. Well, we will put links to your websites and your YouTube in the description and in the show notes if you're listening to this today. Mark, is there anything else that you want to say today before we get going?
Just, hey guys, keep doing it, and much success to your show, Timothy. You're doing an excellent job, and keep manifesting your dreams and your desires.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Mark. Thanks for returning here today, and I'm sure we will have more of your students on here soon, but thank you so much for your time.
Namaste. Thank you, Timothy.
Because I've had this idea always since I'm writing a check that I was going to win the lottery. So when you want to request something from the universe, you let the universe work everything out, because it's all out there already. I manifested the cards that I've had. I have a vision board, and in that vision board, I pinned that I wanted to go on a private plane. And I went on a private plane, I was there. And I look at that sometimes and I say, my gosh.